Hi. Before going to video, please subscribe to my channel for more interesting stuff.
Story from r/glitch in Matrix. Posted by u/L'Italian. Everyone disappeared and I feel like I'm going crazy. I really don't know where to start with this. I'm gonna try to give every single detail I remember. It happened this morning, so it's not like it was that long ago. I've been looking up things online basically all day trying to find some sort of solution to this, but I really truly feel that I'm losing my mind. I can't find anything. And believe me, I've looked. The closest thing I could find was a link to a post from like 3 years ago in this subreddit that really had nothing to do with my problem, but I'm gonna tell the story here in hopes that someone can tell me what the hell happened. I don't really have a history of any prior mental health issues. I had ADHD as a kid and went through a small cycle of depression years back, but that's about it. I've always been a late riser. This whole corona situation has me working from home, so that allows me basically a sleep schedule of my choosing. When I woke up this morning, it was probably closer to noon. The family wasn't home. This isn't strange, as most of the time the old lady and the kids are off doing their own thing by the time I wake up. But when I went to go make a bagel, I saw that the back door was open. I thought maybe she had taken the kids out back to play, so I went to look, but nobody was there. I kinda scoffed at her under my breath for leaving the door open. The bugs are pretty bad, and closed it. But immediately after turning around after closing the door, I saw that across the living room the front door was open too. I could see through the wide open front door that both cars were in the driveway, so I went to go see if they were out front. Nope. This made me a bit nervous as both cars were in the driveway, and both doors were left wide open. I started assuming the worst. Across the street, I saw our neighbor's front door open as well. We are very close with our neighbors. The dad is a childhood friend of mine and the kids have known each other since they were born pretty much, so I just walked over and went in the front door, thinking my family was probably over there. Nope. Not a damn trace. Obviously at this point I started getting panicked. I couldn't find my family, all my doors were open, and my neighbor's house was in the same exact state. All of their cars were parked as well. I went to walk back across the street to get my phone, and I noticed the house next to mine had their front door wide open too. And the one on the house on the other side. This is when I lost my shit. I felt like I was in a goddamn horror movie or something. I looked down the street and every single front door I could see was open and not a damn soul could be found. I went back inside into my room to get my phone that was charging from the night prior, and as soon as I pull it off the charger and unlock it, I hear the front door open and my wife and kids' muffled voices. I sprint to the kitchen to find my wife with bags of groceries in her hands. She just tells me to help her unload them. I ask her where the hell her and the kids have been, and how they even went anywhere without taking one of the cars, and she looks at me like I'm stupid. Tells me she took her car and she's been gone for like an hour. I explain to her the entire story, and she still just looks at me like I'm stupid. Asks me if I'm sure it wasn't a dream. I am positive I was not dreaming. Absolutely positive. She tells me she believes me and that we can look into it, but I could tell she really didn't. Who can blame her? Typing all this and going back to read it, I sound like a fucking lunatic. But I don't know where else to tell this story or anyone else who will really listen to me. I think I'm going crazy. Edit. I spoke to my buddy across the street as well, and he said he and the family have been home all day. But there was clearly nobody there when I went to look for mine. Story from r/glitch in Matrix. Posted by u/Princess Rufflebutt. Maybe my apartment caught fire in another timeline? So a little context, I live in Japan. My apartment is really small, just one room. And one of the main pieces of furniture in my room is a kotatsu, which is a type of low table with a blanket and space heater under it. The idea is that you can curl up into it with your dinner or laptop and whatever, and your legs will be nice and toasty and you will be cozy and warm. Kinda similar atmosphere to a campfire almost, since many Japanese apartments don't have central heating. Anyways, I'm kind of an airhead. There have been a couple of times where I forgot to switch my kotatsu off before going to work. Modern kotatsus have some safety precautions and fail-safes, but it's still not really safe to just leave on. You know? Anyways, one day I came home from work and I smelled something burning from outside the apartment. I got a really bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. The smell kept getting stronger as I approached my apartment and I got really concerned. I touched my door handle and it was cool, but I kept smelling weird burning smells. Not a bonfire, but it smelled like electrical burning. I turned the key in my door handle and I swear for a split second I saw billowing black smoke in my room, but it just kinda flickered out of existence. Then the burning smell was gone and everything in the apartment looked completely normal and undisturbed. I checked my kotatsu table and sure enough, damn thing was still on. Before you ask, yes, I've been far more diligent about switching off my kotatsu before I leave every morning. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks I won't even feel the need to turn it on in the first place since it's warming up lol. Story from r/glitch-in-matrix. Posted by you/anonymous. Shared experience. This happened years ago, but I remember it super vividly and always wondered what others would think. I swear on everything that I have that this is a true story, and I am not fabricating a single detail. We were living in a small town, and my mom and I were going to a hospital in the city. We pulled into the large parking garage and found a space on the 7th floor. We'd parked between a red car and a blue car, facing outside toward a large market sign on the side of a brick building. When we got out, she pointed at a beam on the ceiling that said 7N, meaning 7th floor, facing north, and said remember where we parked. I took in the surroundings. We then made our way to the nearby elevator and went down to the ground floor, and then walked into the hospital. A while later, we left the hospital and got back into the elevator on the ground floor of the parking garage. 7th floor, I said to my mom, in case she had forgotten. She pressed the 7 button and up we went. When the doors opened on the 7th floor, we got out and immediately froze. There was the beam that said 7N. There was the brick building with the market sign. There was the red car, the blue car, and in the space between, where we knew we had parked, was nothing. An empty parking space. Oh no. My mom said. We made our way over to the empty space. Why, I don't know. We made sure that we were on the right floor. We made sure that the cars that were on either side of our car were the same. We briefly went in circles making sure that we were in the right place and not losing our minds. Well, I guess we have to go back down to the ground floor and tell the parking attendant that our car was stolen. My mom said. We got back in the same elevator, she pressed the ground floor button, and made our way down. When the elevator stopped, the doors opened and we froze again. Somehow, we were no longer in the parking garage, but the empty lobby of a theater. Completely confused, we stepped out for a moment, and looked around wondering how the heck we got there. Now what? I said. Let's go back up to the 7th floor again. My mom suggested. We were both at a complete loss, so I guess trying to retrace our steps was the only thing she could think of. We got back into the same elevator, and she pressed 7 again. We reached the 7th floor again, and the doors opened. At this point, I think my jaw hit the floor. We were back where we started. There was the beam that said 7N. There was the brick building with the market sign. There was the red car, the blue car, and in the space between sat our car. We made our way over again and I just stood there with my hand on our car. I looked around again, it was where we had been moments ago, but our car had been missing. Now it was inexplicably back where it started. My mom and I got back in our car, noting that absolutely nothing was out of place from when we had left it. We made our way home without incident. We still occasionally talk about this incident. We both experienced it, and we both remember it the same way. We can't explain it, and nothing like it has happened since. I still wonder what the heck happened. Story from r/glitch-in-matrix. Posted by you/VLPT1121. Space/time jump? What happened that day? I was seeing videos on YouTube about people's experiences with parallel universes and I finally decided to speak up about mine even though it's a bit scary to speak about the experience. I feel like I need answers or opinions without anyone thinking I'm crazy. So around December 2019 I was driving down a highway with my girlfriend and our little dog. Sun was not completely down but the sky was dark and just a little light was visible outside. This road is completely straight and we saw a casino/gas station all lighted up and pretty busy on the opposite side of the road and I told her if she wanted to go to the restroom and immediately switches to the right lane to exit the road. She said she didn't have to and I asked her again and she said no so I sped up and passed the exit. A couple minutes later, 2 to 4 minutes, and we pass exactly where we just passed. Literally the same exit, the same gas/casino and me and my GF just stayed quiet and drove past it like nothing happened. 2 minutes later I decided to tell her like did we not just pass that and she says super scared yes we did guy didn't want to tell you but we just passed that. So I joked and said maybe we died and are reliving the road. I said that, maybe to relieve tension, and we proceed to drive to our destination in which we stayed 2 days. On our drive back it was so foggy and rainy and windy it was barely visible so I was driving slower than usual and then as I pass a semi my car loses control and get thrown to the side of the road where the gravel is. I immediately start to brake and put the handbrake and maneuver the car to control it, and just as we were about to hit head on the guardrails, To keep cars from falling off the road, it's as if the car got picked up and placed on the road again because we skimmed the rails and we're back onto the icy wet road and just completely in control again of the vehicle. And the fog suddenly calmed down and me and my GF turned to the right and the casino/gas station is right there. We drove back without a problem, but to this day my GF hates driving in the rain, and refuses to visit the place we visited. Has this ever happened to anyone? Like jumping from places or something similar? Story from r/glitch in matrix. Posted by u/Claudette Morel 1. I've listened to this song countless and the guitar solo disappeared for a day. So for some information, this happened maybe 8 or 9 months ago. I'm an emo kid, so naturally I love the song Emily by from first to last, and if you've listened to it then you know there's a solo before the vocals start. Well, one day I woke up and I had recently learned to play this song on guitar and had played it many times, but when I went to play along with the song on Spotify I noticed that the solo was missing. I listened to multiple YouTube videos and the official song on Spotify, but the solo wasn't in any of them. I thought that maybe I was just going crazy, but when I woke up the next day and listened to it the solo was back in there. I listened to Spotify and searched YouTube, but I couldn't find the song with no solo, and since then every time I've listened to this song the solo has remained in there. Story from r/glitch in matrix. Posted by u/enigma_nix. Different parallel entities or beings from elsewhere? His happened about 2 years ago in London. It was after 3 AM, Saturday. We were still up watching a movie with my husband. I went to the garden for a cigarette. I sat there smoking and looked to my left. There was this illuminating thing about 3 feet away from me, so I got up to look at it. It was about half of an inch big, literally in front of my face, about 1 foot away. It looked like the best I could describe it. A tiny illuminating hair comb, had a shape of a hair comb, and it was illuminating many different colors running from the top down: blue, green, yellow, pink. I tilted my head to the side to look at it more, but it had mimicked what I was doing. I was like, WTF? I tilted my head back to straight again and it had done the same thing. Now about a minute later a second one had appeared next to the first one, and these two beings were right in front of my face in the line of my eyes, basically like 2 eyes in front of me. Obviously not a shape of eyes, but you get what I mean. Both had started mimicking everything I was doing, all my moves. So I crouched and it went down with me still exactly in the line of my face. I stood up and it went up with me. I turned my head left, right, tilted my head back and forth, and every time it would mimic everything I was doing, literally and exactly copying my moves at the same time, almost like looking in the mirror. I thought it was a form of communication of some sort. I then tried to touch it. It had this sort of energy field around it and wouldn't let me touch it directly, but would bounce off my finger like a millimeter of the actual thing. It had this sort of protective shield, so I would poke it many times in different directions and it would bounce up and then come back to its position in front of my face. A few minutes later another 2 had turned up, so now there was 4 of them around me. 2 of those in front of my face started sort of prolonging its shape into about 1.5 inch long shape, exactly the comb shape as earlier, but now longer. They were both on a vertical line in front of me about few inches apart, and again when I moved it would mimic my moves both at the same time, almost like if you imagine eyes in front of you without a face moving and a mirror reflection of yourself. I thought this was incredible, and there was this almost insane calmness. I felt this beautiful and pure vibe/energy from it, but not of this world, if that makes sense. I also felt it was very intelligent. I took out my phone and tried to take a few photos and also tried to record it, but about 20 seconds in, as if it knew and did not want to be caught on tape, it flew away, shot right behind me. One of them actually makes a move past me and it's clear on the video. Unfortunately the quality isn't fantastic and you can only see light dots, but on some photos there is this illuminating tail and one of them looks like a tiny person. When I magnified it afterwards I was totally gobsmacked. It was changing colors from green to blue and pink and yellow, and the energy was flowing from the top down. It's visible almost like an illuminating jellyfish without the shape of a jellyfish. It actually didn't have a shape or body at all. Wheel sort of, but not a physical body. You could see through it. Clearly it had an intelligence and it was so calming, almost like everything around me, the surroundings were just so calm. Story from r/glitch in matrix. Posted by u/Simon. Doppelganger or another me? This happened to my mother a few years ago at home. I remember that this day I had so much stuff to study, was an exam week, so I agreed with some friends to go to the university and study all day long. I left my house around 7 AM and came back at 9 PM or something. One important thing to mention is that I have a twin brother and he also left the house early this morning. Around 10 AM my mother was alone in the house. She was lying on his bed watching TV. Then she said that heard footsteps in the house and thought that my brother had woken up. She didn't really give it much importance. Then the footsteps were going to his bedroom and surprised she realized that was me who was around the house and not my twin brother. So she asked me if I had to go to the university. I didn't reply. I just were standing in front of his door's bedroom. I looked at her and left. In the evening when we were at the table she mentioned that, because was in weird situation. I said that couldn't be me, maybe was my brother, but he also says that wasn't him. She even remembers the clothes that I was wearing and was the same that I wore that day. It was strange, because she was sleeping when I left the house so she couldn't see what I was wearing. I don't know what the fuck happened. It was like a part of myself who stayed at home, really strange. Anyone that experienced something similar? Story from r/glitch in matrix. Posted by u/blueraincloud420. Possible schizophrenia, possible glitch. I was about 16. Up until this point I had slept in the bed with my mother. My father slept in our second bedroom and my grandmother slept downstairs. Once my grandmother died, my mother moved her stuff into grandma's room and I was alone with my father upstairs, but he worked 2 3 p.m. every day but Sunday and slept every other second. He wasn't eating or getting a beer, so I never saw him. One night I was awoken by people talking and laughing, the TV blasting. It sounded like possibly my aunt or uncle. Some family had dropped into town and was staying on the couch and someone was in my grandma's room watching TV. I say this because when it's dark you can see my grandma's bedroom light from my room and it was on. It happened off and on as a kid. People would just end up sleeping at our house and never with any notice, so I was interested to see who was visiting. So I crept downstairs, not having to be too quiet because my dad's room looked empty. Also the floors are so creaky, so I don't know why I crept. I eased down the stairs and slowly got the door open to see the entire downstairs house was dark. Not one TV on. Nothing. My mom was sleeping and I think at the time I forgot grandma was gone, so I expected her room to be lit up. She always kept a lamp on but there was nothing. Now that I'm writing this I realize that my dog, Puppy at the time, not having a fit would have been sign number 1. Nobody was there. He barks the entire time we have visitors, no matter how long they stay, to this day. My second one is around the same time. I was being rebellious and wanted a piercing. My mom said no. Obviously I was about 16 but I wanted one. So randomly, unplanned, not anywhere near the time I asked, I had gotten a needle and pierced my ear cartilage. Mind you, I am 1 upstairs out of sight, 2 not suspicious at all. No package, no hot topic visit, no asking before doing. I finished and got it all cleaned up and decided to go downstairs and watch TV because I had no TV in my room. You cannot see me from my mom's room and I had my hair down. Tell me why. My mom shouts from the room, "Come here," so I say why and she says come here. As I walk towards her room and stand in the hall before it, she says lift up your hair and show me your ear. I asked which one and she pointed out the one I had pierced a mere 2 to 5 minutes before. She said I knew it and that was that. I never knew how she figured it out, and if she came upstairs at any point you would hear the stairs and the floor creak to the point we all know who is coming by the sound of their steps. This was just weird.
Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe for more videos.